Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, presents the Friends in Recovery Saturday Shares, as they share their stories about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery.
Hello, my name is Tyler. I'm an alcoholic. Currently, I have 7 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days, and still counting, of sobriety under my belt. And I suppose my story starts way before I picked up any drug or drink. I'm going to try to go back as far as I can because I had formerly died when I was 9, but from what I can recall, I was always a class clown. I was seeking approval. I was going to the principal's office. I was getting kicked off the bus. And prior to that, I was in Latch, and I didn't know what that was. I thought, just parents are working, whatever. My dad always worked late, and my mom, when she still had her job, was working late as well. So I'd stay at Latchkey and then get taken home on a late bus. And that was normal for me as far as I knew. I guess a lot of kids do that, but it was one, but I guess it all started, when I started to see the real picture. Instead of a bus taking me home, a cop picked me up from Latchkey one day, and I came home with the cop. I got my first ride in a police car. This is elementary school. I want to say maybe 4th grade. I come home, there's ambulances and cops all at my house, and apparently my grandmother had died. And that is the start of the descent of my mother. After my grandma had died, my mom started to drink and take pills relentlessly. As to I had no acknowledgement of it. I just thought, oh, mom is sad, this, that, the third. Years down the road, her dad dies, my grandfather, and she just totally unwinds. So here I am, brought up in this household. Dad's always working, mom's getting plastered every night, and I don't like my home life. It's terrible. I remember calling my dad on his work cell phone almost every single night, like, hey, mom fell down again. She cracked her head open. She's leaking all over the place, passed out. Not a good environment for a young child. Coming home from school every day, I'd know what I was coming home to. Multiple car rides to the liquor store, car accidents. At the time, I was too young to know, you're not supposed to drink and drive. I do remember being petrified in a car when I was younger. And then sooner or later, I started just not wanting to be home. So I'd go out, ride my bike late at night, and I made friends with a bunch of older kids at a really young age because there was no no adolescents currently telling me what to do or what not to do. So here I am making older friends, doing older people things than my age group. And that would follow me all the way up until high school and just doing derelict things, getting picked up by the police station by my father, uh, just doing, things I shouldn't have been doing. And I always told myself I never wanted to be like my mother, and she, would escape her reality by, drinking and taking her medication. Um, and I never wanted to be like that. And until I lost my mother, that's probably when I started going off the deep end, not caring what I was doing, not thinking twice about, where it would lead me. And it was awesome, it was parties here, house parties, hotel parties, woods parties, and I loved it. It was wonderful. And then shortly after, everybody around me started to grow up, and I was still there at the party by myself. And it was saddening, but I was like, why does the party have to end just because nobody's here? And I just kept, drinking and drugging by myself. Every once in a while, go out to the city with my wife, and we'd have a good time there, going to, festivals and concerts and whatnot. But again, I never wanted the night to end. I just kept wanting more and more and more and more. And she had grown up well before me, and she had gotten tired of my shit. I'm sure I'm skipping around a bunch. It's really off the cuff here. But yeah, in the later years of my drinking, it wasn't fun anymore. It barely numbed me. It got me into doing other drugs I never thought I'd be doing. Uh, Always, got to a point where I just isolate and party by myself, and I'd be sitting there thinking like, what are you doing? Like, this is supposed to be like a social thing, and you're sitting here, you know, pissing all over your mood, all over your day. Like, it would get to a point that I wanted to be so alone. I would get in a fight with my wife as soon as I walked in the door from work, just so I can go isolate in the basement, drink by myself, and just be left alone, no responsibilities. I didn't want to be, in my own skin. I wanted to just be left alone, not in the life that I had. And family outings, family events, doing things, with friends, I just opt out. I wouldn't want to. I'd find a reason. I'd blame it on something. I'd come up with some bullshit excuse as to, not feeling well. Oh no, I don't like big crowds. I don't like this. I don't like that. Um, I'd rather get this done instead of going there. It was always a lie around the corner. Um, and I'd have to say, that at anywhere after, 7 years old, you're still wet in the bed, that's not fun. Or, going on a family vacation with your 2-year old and waking up in somebody else's Airbnb that you have no idea who they are or why they're yelling at you in a foreign language as to why you're not supposed to be in their apartment is embarrassing, and it's very, shameful. And that wasn't too long ago. I'd say that was less than 2 years ago. Um, not caring as to whose lives I'm affecting so much as drinking myself to a point on a Thursday night to where I can't wake up on Wednesday and get my kid ready to go to daycare. It had bad news written all over it, and the only outcome for that was either, get divorced or just die alone, or, just die. It's not too many options after that. And I knew with the cards that I was dealt, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I had, ruined what I had, come to find in life was the greatest thing I've ever, had. And for some reason my mental instability was just putting a rain cloud over everything. I've got a career, I've got a family, I've got a house, I've got a car, I have all these things people dream of, and yet I'm poor me over here. So instead of being like, oh, I got this car payment, I got a mortgage I can't afford. Well, there's somebody that, would love to have a mortgage, just people paying, rent in an apartment, that was me that I couldn't afford, but now I got my own house and I'm still crying about it. Like when are you ever going to be happy? You have all these things that people dream of having, like the guy that's walking to work wishes he had the bike. The guy with the bike is riding his bike to work, wishing he had a car. The guy with the car is driving to work, wishing he had a Lamborghini. You got to find serenity somewhere. And it doesn't come overnight. And I'm starting to realize that. So I got the ultimatum: either keep the bottle or you know pack your bags. And I made the right choice. Come to find, if it was going to rehab for 30 days, which turned into an extended 45, or being where I was less than 8 months ago, I'd do it all over again. Um, my life hasn't been perfect, but it has been better than since I can remember. Uh, I'm still working my 12 steps. I'm not done yet, but what keeps me going is seeing everybody's serenity and genuine happiness. And through this fourth step that I'm working on, I'm in no rush, by the way. I have my whole life to be sober. I don't want to run through it too quickly, but I'm still envious of people that are like genuinely happy, because I still want that. It's something I gotta deal with. My mental health is something still deep down in there, blocking whatever it is that I is making me think that I'm not happy. But I have everything I want, and nothing. I have everything I need and nothing that I want. I'm not sure how that saying goes, but you know what I'm saying. Um, I'm content. I'm where I want to be. Uh, I don't have everything I have, but I have everything I need. I think I'm just confusing myself now, but long story short, I turned into what I didn't want to be, and I watched my mother do the same thing I was doing and the same thing I said I never wanted to turn into. And that was a very reflecting point. Even as much as I've heard my wife say, you're gonna end up just like your mother. Like that became a cliche. And as messed up as that is, it didn't even phase me. After a while, it was just like, yeah, whatever. Like I was waiting for it pretty much. And that something clicked somewhere along the lines where, hey, that's not something that should be a normalcy. When somebody says it to you, it should affect you in some way, shape, or form. And I saw, through somehow my actions and my words that I'd been using towards my friends and family were not the best. And I hurt a lot of people along the way. And like I always say with my wife, my apologies carry no weight anymore, because I've said sorry so many times and it got old. So now all I can do is prove to her, day by day, that I truly am sorry. And some days I gotta take this journey, by the minute or by the hour. I was just saying last night on a meeting how I find alcohol to be one of the hardest things to overcome, because as opposed from, your dope dealer that, you could just delete his phone number, you're getting plastered, everywhere you look, on TV, down the road, liquor stores and advertisements for the next new thing. And it's just always there. It's like, oh wow, that's cool. That's a new drink, whatever. Um, I just I just look at it as, you gotta want it that bad. If you don't want it, it's still there. It'll always be there. So that's how I look at it. I'll give this a good shot. I'll give it my best shot. Um, because I gotta keep in mind in the back of my head that, I don't got it. There's people out there that have more time than I've been alive, and they still slip up. So I got to keep that in the back of my head, that it's potentially right around the corner, and if you lose your footing, it could be me next. But I want to thank Genesis House for, showing me what to do and how to do it. And the counselors there are beyond amazing. I had Steven, he's a great guy, very humble. Gave me a lot of wise words, and certainly helped me out with, how to go about my life now that I've done so much wrong, and not be shameful for it, but to take it with a grain of salt, and work on what I had done. I believe there's always a deeper meaning to, whatever you do or say. So whatever is on the surface, there's something controlling that underneath subconsciously, and that's currently what I'm going through. I'm on the right path, and I gotta, open the right door. Um, I was very skeptical about the ultimatum my wife had made. I knew what I had to do. I just didn't know, like, it wasn't the kind of thing where I was like, okay, let me sleep on it, see about it. It was like, got to make a call, because I'm not doing this shit no more. And so I got on the plane, and I had to be COVID tested, and all the sites down in Florida. I know I'm jumping around a lot. I'm sorry. Bear with me. But luckily my sister lives down in Delray Beach, and because all the COVID testing centers prior to going to Genesis House were closed, my sister let me sleep with her at her house. And lo and behold, she's got this huge China liquor cabinet, and I don't know how, but I didn't rate it the night before I went to go get a COVID test and then get dropped off at Genesis House. That is not like me, but that is very, very shocking for me to even think about today, because even the new me thinks the old me still should have done that. Like, that's crazy how I did not want to go on that last bender, but probably out of respect for my sister letting me stay there, I didn't want to cause any more trouble. Because still in the morning I still have to face anything I said or did while I was, under the influence, which, is never a problem for me. It's embarrassing, but I always try to keep my side of the road clean. But yeah, throughout this experience, I've been more spiritual. I've been much more humble. I've been given a much different perspective. The old me would look at people that did drugs that I didn't do. I'd lowbrow them and say, oh, they're drug addicts. But, I'd be in the city, every weekend, doing drugs, different drugs, but, those drugs are okay. It it's not a, compare. I don't compare anymore is what it is. It is what it is, but I don't look at people or things like that anymore. I instead of comparing, I want to, help people out now. Doesn't matter what you've done, who you are, where you were, because I'm right there with you. And I got no complaints. So far, so good. If I get tired of it, everything's still back out there. Last I heard, still not good. But the more I learn about it, the more I want to, stick it out and keep going on this journey. And that's all I have for now. Thank you for listening.
That concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery Saturday Shares.